This is the sales advantage. Welcome to Asking for the Order. My name is Marshall Northcott. I am a seasoned consultative sales professional and corporate trainer. This e-learning module is designed to explore the subject of closing sales opportunities in order to simplify the task of securing customer commitment. You are encouraged to take notes during the training module. The narrated portion of the module is broken into 10 separate sections known as learning paths, which total 90 recorded minutes. You may pause the program or take a break at any time during the learning paths, and the learning management software will keep track of your progress. In addition, there are 4 mini-timed quizzes to evaluate your understanding of each section of the e-learning module and a final exam. Use the graded quizzes to measure your progress throughout the module in preparation for the final exam. Each quiz and exam question have a 90-second time limit, and the quizzes and exam also have a time limit. You cannot pause the quizzes or exam once you begin. Asking for the Order is an e-learning module designed to help the participants identify the significance of the steps in the sales process and how each relates to finalizing the sale. Successful sales professionals are in the habit of consistently asking the customer for their business. In this module, you will learn about common mistakes that can cause you to miss out on sales opportunities, why a structured approach to your sales presentation is critical to closing more sales, and how to effectively implement a successful approach. This session will educate you on the psychology and benefit of trial closes and how to use them in a sales presentation to help your prospects make a favorable decision. Confidence is vital to becoming a top sales performer, and if you want to be the best, you need to learn how to build your own confidence and transfer it to your prospects. Give yourself the advantage of confidence, set the expectation, and believe that you deserve the customer's business. Discover how to make a recommendation that makes sense and finalize the sale using a variety of closing techniques. As part of our learning objectives in this e-learning module, we will discover tips, techniques, and ideas to help you identify the steps in the sales process and understand the value of each step as it pertains to closing the sale. Know what is required to earn the right to ask for the customer's business, explain what trial closes are, and understand how to use them effectively. Analyze the information gathered and formulate a reasonable recommendation. Heighten your awareness regarding the significance of a solid questioning strategy. The sales cycle. Selling is a process. By learning, practicing, and consistently using the steps in the selling process, you significantly increase your chances of success. I've never liked the term closing. The word implies an ending, a finish. That's fine for simple, low-end, low-ticket selling environments. However, for corporate business-to-business sales, securing the sale is just the beginning. Closing for most people also implies pressure. In consultative selling, finalizing the sale is a natural progression. It is the successful conclusion to a business interaction. Keep this in mind as you work through this module. Closing is often identified as the primary culprit for subpar sales performance. It's been this way for an incredibly long time. It's not uncommon for a sales manager to blame poor sales results on a salesperson's failure to close the sale. Although this one aspect of the sales process is definitely a contributor to low conversion rates, I'm confident based on personal experience and statistical data that it gets more attention than it deserves. Technological advancements bring continuous change. With this in mind, I believe that it's important to remind people that methods are many and principles are few. Although technological advancements may cause methods in which we operate to be in a constant state of flux, the fundamentals remain the same because they are based on people. According to current research, percentages indicate the following. 47% of salespeople do adequate research and pre-call planning. The next three percentages all fall under the rapport building and client interview needs assessment steps of the sales cycle. 34% of salespeople position the call or set the stage for the sales appointment properly. 51% do a reasonable client needs assessment. 33% do an adequate job of making a solid connection and building trust. 26% are effective at connecting identified client needs to proposed solutions when presenting a proposal or recommendation. 25% gain adequate client commitment and secure the opportunity while engaging and interacting during the presentation. 24% ask for the customer's business or close the sale. And worst of all, only 15% of salespeople do an effective job of leading, guiding, and directing the opportunity by covering off next action steps and setting expectations moving forward, which is a key component of closing and professionalism. Please define or describe what asking for the order is. What perception or thoughts do you have about this topic? After giving this question some consideration, you probably have a few ideas of your own on what asking for the order is. Here are some of the things that I think of when I think of the term asking for the order. An automatic habit that all successful sales professionals perform consistently. The beginning of a new business relationship. Our entire purpose for being there. The reason our employer requires our services. Job security. Our main objective for initiating contact with a prospect. The difference between mediocrity and success. Hitting the home run. The big payoff. The adrenaline rush of selling. What separates the amateurs from the professionals. Gaining a binding legal commitment and agreement between two parties. A confident display of balanced assertiveness that leads the customer or prospect to the next step. Our guarantee of an ever-increasing income. What are the psychological aspects of closing the sale? Why do salespeople struggle with this? What are they possibly uncomfortable with? Let's begin with a story. Many years ago, a major insurance company decided to do a secretive analysis on their sales force to pinpoint issues specifically related to the subject of closing the sale. As part of this analysis, they scheduled mock appointments with fake customers to determine what percentage of their salespeople actually came right out and asked for the customer's business. The pretend customers were instructed to sign an insurance agreement only if the salesperson asked them in some manner to do so. They could have said anything like, "Did you have any remaining questions before we complete the paperwork, or shall I go ahead?" Or, "If there's nothing else, why don't we go ahead and get the paperwork taken care of?" Or, "Shall we proceed?" All they had to do was ask for the business in some manner. This is a well-known company that had a reputation for training their people well. What percentage of their people would you guess actually asked? What would your estimate be? The number was 9%. That's right, less than 1 out of 10 of their professionally trained sales force actually came right out and asked for the customer's business. The company recognized that this was a huge issue, so they invested a great deal of time and likely money addressing the issue by providing additional training to the sales staff. Feeling that the issue had been addressed and successfully resolved, they decided to repeat the secretive analysis on their sales force after some time had passed. They were astounded by what they discovered. An increased percentage of their salespeople were now asking for the business. Guess what percentage the number had increased by? On top of the 9%, how much had the number grown by? The answer is 4%. That is correct. There was an insignificant improvement. Now, 13% of the sales staff were asking. I choose to begin this module by sharing this story to emphasize one main point. Your success in sales will most likely require a major shift in thinking. You have to understand the psychology behind the way that you think. We can teach you all the mechanics in the world. However, you will never truly, fully benefit from the tips, techniques, methods, or ideas until you wrap your head around the inner workings of your mind and how those gears impact your actions. So back to the question at hand. What are the psychological aspects of closing the sale? Feeling, emotional, that you haven't earned the business yet, that you haven't answered all their questions, that the flow of the meeting is going too smoothly, and something must be wrong. Guilty because you aren't 100% certain it is what they should be doing, that asking for the business is too pushy, and they may not like you if you do. That you don't deserve the business for some reason, that they are happy with their current situation, and you're not convinced that they should change. Overpowering need for acceptance and the fear that asking for the business may be perceived as overly aggressive. Avoidance of pain or perceived pain or rejection. Why do salespeople struggle with this? What are they possibly uncomfortable with? Don't feel a good connection. Poor rapport with the customer. Haven't established enough trust. Lack of information received from the customer. Fail to have a solid understanding of the customer and their business. Low personal confidence in yourself, your company, or the product. Poor product or industry-related knowledge or belief. Fear of rejection or the feeling of humiliation if the customer says no. Uncomfortable in an influential or leading role. People seek approval and acceptance from others and are secretly terrified at the prospect of being unaccepted. If the salesperson hasn't covered everything, stuck to a step-by-step process, it just doesn't feel right to ask. Haven't established enough value for their product or service. Psychological, personality, or emotional reasons, lack of worthiness, low self-esteem. What are the personality traits and qualities of someone who consistently maintains a high closing ratio without burning bridges or boxing customers or prospects into making poor decisions? Is this elite group only made up of A-type individuals? Assuming that these are traits and qualities that anyone can have or develop over time, what must you do to evolve and grow personally and professionally in these areas? Here is a definition of A-type individuals. They can be described as impatient, excessively time-conscious, insecure about their status, highly competitive, hostile and aggressive, and incapable of relaxation. They are often high-achieving workaholics who multitask, drive themselves with deadlines, and are unhappy about the smallest of delays. Because of these characteristics, Type A individuals are often described as stress junkies. What are the personality traits and qualities of someone who consistently maintains a high closing ratio without burning bridges or boxing customers or prospects into making poor decisions? Are these people only made up of A-type individuals? First off, no. You do not have to be a type A person to be a high percentage closer. What you do need to be is driven and focused. Stay on task, zero in on objectives. Assertive, not afraid to ask. Persistent, don't give up easily. Confident and self-assured in yourself, your abilities, your product knowledge, and your understanding of the industry. Consultative, assess to uncover needs and opportunities. Someone who presents, demonstrates, and justifies. They match the opportunity to their product or service, the result, by educating, informing, influencing, and applying persuasion skills. Assuming that these are traits and qualities that anyone can have or develop over time, what must you do to evolve and grow personally and professionally in these areas? Know your objectives before going into any sales appointment and then stick to your goal. Push yourself out of your comfort zone in those areas or traits that are not natural and more challenging for you. Give yourself permission to stretch and grow by trying new ways and allowing yourself to make some mistakes and work through challenges. Learn how to get yourself in the most ideal frame of mind by taking the initiative to read more about your own identified weaknesses or challenges, or do some job shadowing association with coworkers who are gifted closers. Put new techniques and ideas into practice and stick with them until you master them. This concludes step number 1 of the learning path. Please click on the green Next button with the white arrow in order to advance to the next step.